What's up, guys and girls of YouTube? How are you today? Alan Horn back at you, one of the owners of Utah Window Experts. Been doing this a mere 24 years, have been enjoying every minute of it, and we've just recently gone onto YouTube. We're hoping to share some of that experience with you guys to help out, to make more informed purchases, to be able to know more about your window components and parts and things when someone comes in to give you a bid. Just hopefully we have anything that you're looking for here on YouTube. If there's something you want that we don't have yet, please, in the comments, please let us know what you want to learn about. We have lots of experience here. I'm one of the owners. Steve Horn's one of the owners. He's been in one of the videos, and he's only been doing windows about, I don't know, 50 years, maybe more than that. The guy's as old as dirt for sure. So we're here to help you out. If you come here to find out about types of replacement windows, retrofit versus full window replacement, you've come to the right place. Let's get into it. This is a new window right here in our display wall, but for these intents and purposes, let's pretend like this window right here is an old window. It's an old vinyl window. It's an old aluminum window that you want us or someone else to replace. Let's say that's an old window. We've come to the house. We're going to do a consultation with you. We're going to discuss, options on the windows, how to replace, which way to replace it, what type of window. Because really, every house is different. And every house, some houses might not use a window at all that another house across the street would be really good with. So lots of different options. One size does not fit all. And one type of installation does not fit all as well. You can have the best window out there that is not installed properly, and it seems like a piece of junk. So we're trying to steer you in the right direction, pick the right type of window, right brand, right. Today it's the right type of installation. So retrofit versus full window frame replacement. Let's start with the retrofit. So in certain situations, this happens to be a siding exterior. Sometimes we do this in siding. More often than not, though, a retrofit window is going to be in stucco. At least out here in Utah, we're dealing with stucco that's somewhat fragile, that can break, that can kind of chip and peel apart if we take the window out. So what we like to do on occasion with that is a retrofit window. What that means is we leave part of the frame in of the old window. So you can see this right here. You can see the operable portion of the window, the sash. You can see the main frame. You can see the fixed glass over here. What a retrofit window does is we actually leave as little frame as possible inside the wall still. What that allows us to do is leave it intact, and underneath this window, when the house was built, underneath here you're going to have it's a nailing fin. It's got little holes in it, and when the guys built your house originally, they used a window with a nailing fin that gets put into the sheeting of the wall. That gets covered with flashing. It gets covered with stucco, with all these other things, insulation sometimes. So there's a lot covering this part of the window frame that you can't see underneath your exterior. So what leaving the frame in allows us to do is it makes it so we don't have to disturb any of that underneath the wall. And more often than not, it's in stucco. We usually, when we can, we do like to do a full frame replacement, only because with the retrofit installation, you leave a little bit of the window frame in and makes your new window a little bit smaller. I'll show you, for example, here. We have two different colors of windows here. We've got a Milgard Desert Tan Tuscany frame window. The other one we've got is a Amsco Hampton white vinyl replacement window. And when I say replacement windows on these for retrofit, we have what we call a flush fin. Lots of people call it different things. Flush fin, Z-bar, stucco fin, replacement flange. Those are all sorts of words and ways to describe this same thing. It's a replacement flange that is extruded, connected to the window, and they're usually about 1.5 inches wide. If you can see that, about 1.5 inches wide on that one as well, on the Tuscany. You can see actually too on the side, check this out. The Milgard Tuscany flush fin or stucco flange is a little bit thicker. Check that out. It's a heavier duty wall. This is the Amsco, also a good one, but I like that Milgard one better. It's heavier duty. There's more channels and compartments to it inside the frame. So very heavy duty, very stout. Either one of these, again, Milgard calls it a Z-bar, Amsco calls it a flush fin. Different ways to call that for the same thing. So what that flush fin allows us to do, We get our replacement window. We take everything out. When we're going to go, take your window out of the wall, take everything out except for this main frame like we talked about. The installers come in, they get our flush fin window, which has been, pre-sized, and the guy comes out, a high-ranking official would come out to the job and measure your windows and get them fitted just right for you. We go and measure those and order them from the factory. They come out, the installers bring the windows out. First window they put in, leave the frame in. We come in with this flush fin, and we bring the window inside over on top of that frame. We've sized them accordingly. On the outside, you can see this flush fin covers that old frame just about perfect. We can size those just right so that flush fin just barely covers the outside window. Sometimes we need it to cover a little more additional, we can do that as well. But it covers the old frame on the outside. Our new window typically is a little bit deeper framed, so we can jump over or pass through the old window frame. Then on the inside we trim. We'll show you here in a second what we do there. But this is an example of retrofitting a window. And here's our tan Milgard Tuscany version. There's that. This isn't situated exactly right, but there's another idea there. You can, different colors. We can do the retrofit windows in white, in tan, in black, all sorts of different colors. So similar sort of frame. Again, stucco flange, flush fin, Z-bar. Interesting Milgard calls that, right? It's a little bit different. I always wondered, why did they call it a Z-bar? I probably should come out with another video. It's probably because of the Z formation right here, is my guess. That would be an opposite Z, I guess, more like an S. Anyway, Z-bar frame. So that's what it looks like on the outside for a retrofit window. We use it on stucco. We can use it on siding. We can use it on brick. It just depends on the situation. Like I mentioned, we come out, we consult, we find out the best way to install your window, and we get it done for you. Second way we install, and again, this is probably the way we usually install for most of the time. We try to take the frame out of the opening just because it allows you to get a bigger window frame. There's more options, I think, overall for that. And it's similar in replacement to the retrofit style, except for instead of leaving a little bit of frame in, by the time we pull the frame out, we cut the glass out, and then we cut the frame out. We pull the frame out from the wall extremely carefully, especially if it's in stucco. And then depending on the type of exterior you have, we may actually still use that flush fin. Depending on what you have, typically in stucco, we do still actually use the flush fin, even if we pull the frame out, because what happens is when we pull the frame out, we get a little bit of stucco right around the edge that tends to chip out. So that flush fin without the frame out allows us to pass over that stucco or siding or brick, depending on the situation. Allows us to cover that ever so slightly, to cover any sort of chipping or damage right around the edge of the window. So either way is a great install. We typically go case by case to see which house needs which window and which type of install. Let's move around over here real quick to the inside. I believe I've showed you everything on the outside. Oh, one extra thing actually, brick windows, like brick openings. Typically what we do on that, most of the time it's called a block frame. So if we look at this window we were just checking out, this again is the flush fin. Block frame means the window without any sort of attachments or connections like a Z-bar or a nailing fin on the window. It's just a flat, full-framed window. We're able to size that window all the way, brick to brick, left to right, up to down, top to bottom, and then we install it in the opening, caulk it all the way around. So that's generally the only time we would use a block frame. There are some situations, but yes, let's move around to the inside. I'll show you real quick how we finish off the inside. Here we are on the inside of the window opening. We've showed you on the outside how we install, whether we use a flush fin, whether we use a block frame. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. And then, if you have a different type of exterior or wondering how your windows would be installed, we can message you and give you some ideas. Once we get on the inside, let's say a retrofit window where we leave the frame in. Frame stays in on the outside. We do a frame jump, we call it, with this retrofit window. We've got the flush fin on the outside. And then on the inside, you're thinking, well, what the heck? That does not look great, because what's happened, especially if this old window frame is made out of metal, if it's aluminum, silver, or black, or whatever, it's an old window frame that's dirty, that's old, that's broken, whatever. So that gets covered on the inside, typically with a piece of flat vinyl trim like that. Once we put the new window in, we insulate wherever we can. If there are gaps, if there's holes, if there's somewhere to insulate, we do that first. We get trim, we cut to size on the inside. And what we do, this doesn't cover, of course, the whole corner, but you can get the idea. We put the trim on. We have double-sided tape on here. Stick that on, cut it to size all the way around, and then we, of course, caulk the joints on the inside. So that's what it looks like. It's a full window, full frame leave-in the frame. We come in, we jump over it, and we trim it on the inside. And you would never know. Once on the inside, you wouldn't know that the old frame is in there, inside or outside. It does make your new window a little bit smaller, as we mentioned earlier, but it is a great way to use to replace windows when you want to do a retrofit, when we can't sacrifice something on the exterior that could break. So if this were a window that we were replacing the whole frame, what you'd see is just this part, your window sheetrock or jamb. This whole frame would be out, and if we were using flush fin, it would look very similar, except for both frames together is all you would see on the inside is this frame. We'd come over on top of your sheetrock, caulk all the way around, insulate where we can, and you're good to go. Back at the front of the window now. I hope that's answered your questions on how to replace a window, retrofit versus full frame replacement. If you have any additional questions, I hope we covered most of what you need to know. If not, let us know in the comments. Hopefully we've let you know on everything that's useful to you on a replacement window. If you like the video, like and subscribe, please. We're small, we're just getting started. Give us a chance, we'll hook you up. Now that sounds stupid, geez. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Let us know what you want to see. We will include your video here. We're small enough that we can do this. We can start doing different videos that we don't have. Let us know what you want. Give us a shot. See you later.